The Rise and Shine podcast series is made possible by the generous support of Bonnie Vozar of Chicago, Illinois.
Wisdom comes from awe rather than from shrewdness. It's evoked not in moments of calculation, but in moments of being in the mystery of reality. The greatest insights happen to us in moments of awe.
This is Rise and Shine, a podcast that offers timeless wisdom and uplifting meditations to fill your heart, feed your soul, and start your day on a positive note. Here is Adrienne Gold Davis.
This summer, I spent some time in one of the most beautiful places on earth, Aspen, Colorado. Now, for me, the mountains are the place where I feel the most spiritual. For many people, it's the water. Some, it's the desert. But in the mountains, I can feel the majesty of the Creator the most acutely. There's all those shadows and shades of mountain greens, and then that sudden interruption of that bells of a brook babbling by your feet, and then that solid ground beneath your feet, despite the twisting and the turning of the paths, and it makes you conscious of how your feet carry you. So I had a conversation. I was on a walk there with someone I really love and asked her, where do you feel the most spiritual? Is it in the mountains or deserts or oceans? Is it the stars and the sunsets? And she said, for me, it's standing in front of the ocean. It's that vast, bottomless expanse. There's no end in sight. It makes me feel so small and so insignificant and so powerless. That's where I feel the presence of a higher power. And so I said to her, perhaps that's it. Maybe that feeling of awe that makes us draw in our breath, and the wonder and the grandness and the breathtakingness doesn't just make us feel small and powerless. Maybe it's the contrast between that smallness and the grandness of being a human being who can recognize their smallness. Maybe that is where the feeling of God enters. So let me explain what I mean. I've heard many people, that know what I do and what I practice, how I practice. They say things to me like, listen, Adrienne, synagogue and formal prayer is just not for me. I don't feel God there. But when I'm in nature, it seems to feel like it's all around me. And I always explain to them that awe is, in fact, a pathway into personal greatness. In fact, in Pirkei Avot, which is, as you know, the ethics of our fathers, in the 6th Mishnah, 6th chapter, there happens to be this list of the 48 ways to wisdom and greatness. And one of them is called the Ema, with awe. So when Rabbi Noah Weinberg of blessed memory, wrote about this path towards achieving greatness, he said the following quote, awe is an experience so powerful that it's paralyzing. On the other hand, we know awe to be extremely exhilarating. What defines an awesome experience? Well, when you look at the expanse of the stars, you see power and beauty and harmony, and you realize that each tiny star is actually a raging sun. And in the face of tremendous force, we do feel insignificant by comparison. We recognize and realize our own weakness, our smallness, our mortality. Yet, surprisingly, this doesn't depress us. It inspires us because we are merged with the greater whole. That realization can be a source of tremendous positive energy. And if you know the secret of awe and you use it effectively, you can actively release its power in day-to-day living. What a brilliant thought. So, in the book of Genesis, we read that famous story about our patriarch Jacob. He has this dream, and this dream is of a ladder, and it has angels ascending and descending it. And, it's been rendered by so many artists over the years, and it's inspired so many poets. And well, what happens is he says, how awesome is this place? There is none other than the abode of God, and this is the gateway to heaven. Now, in a text study-based website, they write that this passage illustrates how an encounter with the divine, even in a dream, can evoke a profound sense of awe. You see, Jacob, he goes to sleep without noticing God's presence. And after a night filled with dreams of angels that are ascending and descending that ladder, he woke with a new awareness. He was able to see that which he hadn't seen before the dream. His perspective changed, and he became filled with awe. And maybe that's why I love the mountains, because my feet are on the ground and my head is in the heavens. And that's the perfect physical environment for who I am, how I move through the world. So naturally, I took a ton of photos, and not just because the beauty was remarkable and I wanted to send it out there, but because I wanted to recreate the sensation I was feeling by referring back to it time and time and time again. Now, realize it didn't detract me from being present. I'm going to remember the sound of those clapping, kind of musical aspen leaves as if they were tattooed on my eyelids. I don't really need the pictures because I've implanted that awe deep into my consciousness. But when I need a lift, if I want to recapture that moment, and between my eyes and my mind, I can look at the record of it. When things overwhelm me, when I can't control my heart or my emotions, when I'm angry or lonely or scared or bored, that feeling of awe can be revisited, and I can calm my system and recenter myself. The rabbi, Abraham Joshua Heschel, once wrote in a book, this book called God in Search of Man. He said this: there is only one way to wisdom, awe. The loss of awe is the great block to insight. Wisdom comes from awe rather than from shrewdness. It's evoked not in moments of calculation, but in moments of being in rapport with the mystery of reality. The greatest insights happen to us in moments of awe. So this week, can you try and consciously capture or recreate those awe-filled moments for your own sake? Or just take a look at the ordinary miracles around you that you can bring on that sensation of awe, that centering, grounding, beautiful, connected sensation. Maybe it's your sleeping child. Maybe it's that vase of beautiful flowers on the counter. Maybe it's that climax to that perfect song. Maybe it's the taste of your favorite food, and just sit with it. Catalog it. And then, well, if I were you, I'd book a trip to the mountains or the beach or the desert, or just lie on the grass at night and look up at the sky and enjoy that big, small paradox. Because as the beat poet Lawrence Ferlinghetti once wrote in one of my favorite poems, he said, I am waiting for the rebirth of wonder. Have an awesome week.
Thanks for listening to Rise and Shine. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to Momentum Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Join Adrienne again next time for more timeless wisdom and uplifting meditations that fill your heart, feed your soul, and start your day on a positive note.
This podcast was made possible by the generous support of Bonnie Vozar of Chicago, Illinois. Spread the wisdom. Inspire Jewish individuals around the globe by supporting Momentum's podcasts. To sponsor, contact podcast@momentumunlimited.org. You're listening to a Momentum podcast. For unlimited inspiration, wisdom, and empowerment, visit momentumunlimited.org.